Hey y'all, it's Melissa from The Little for the Kid, and welcome. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 things never to say to an allergy parent. So if you're interested in hearing those 10 things, stick around. Okay, so before I dive in, welcome back if you've been here before. If you are new to my channel, my name is Melissa, as I said, and I am a homeschooling mom to 3 kids. And my youngest child, Ford, for whom this channel is named, has a really long list of severe food allergies and other allergies as well. And so that's kind of why the channel was born, and it's really turned into more of a homeschooling channel. So a lot of what I post is a lot of what I have on my channel is homeschooling content, but I do like to throw in some allergy life content as well because it is so important. 1 in 13 children has a life-threatening food allergy these days. That is an alarming, ginormous number. And so if you think 1 in 13, that means a kid in your kid's classroom, at least one child on your kid's baseball team or football team or basketball team. That means at least one child probably in your child's Sunday school class. This means that you know someone, at least one, probably more, that has a food allergy. And so it's super important for us to educate the general public about food allergies because there are so many misconceptions about food allergies. I've done a video about that, and so I'll post a link to that so you can take a look at that too if you'd like. It's very important. But to continue that conversation about food allergies and how to handle people that you know that have food allergies, I ran across this article posted by Allergic. Sorry, my laundry's ready. Posted by Allergic Living. And so first of all, this is not entirely my content. This is an article that was posted. I'll put the link to it down in the description box, but I thought it was so good and so important that I wanted to share it with you guys who watch my channel and add a few thoughts that I had as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. 10 things you should never say to parents of an allergy kid. And the first one is, I know how you feel. No, you don't. You don't know how you feel. And it's okay. There was a day when I didn't know either. Before I had an allergy kid, I didn't know either. I thought I knew, and y'all, I did not know. Unless you live day to day with every single aspect of your life being affected dramatically by food allergies, you don't know. You don't. So instead of saying, I know how you feel, say, I don't know how you feel, but I'm here to help you and support you in any way that I can. That is a much more helpful statement. Number 2, do you or your husband have food allergies? Don't ask that question, guys. So yeah, there are some indicators that in some cases allergies are genetic, but in lots of cases, like ours, for example, they're not at all. And not only that, you're implying, whether you mean to or not, you're implying that as an allergy parent, we have guilt, that we're somehow responsible for the fact that our child has food allergies. And like I said, whether you mean it that way or not, it does come across that way. So, instead say, oh, she has your eyes, or oh, he looks just like your husband, or I don't know, something else. But don't talk about genetics when it comes to food allergies, because a lot of the time it has no bearing on if your child has food allergies or not. Number 3, but he looks so normal. Really? Well, he is normal. He likes airplanes and toys, and he likes to go swimming, and he likes to learn, and he likes to read, um, and he is normal. He just happens to have food allergies too. So, you know, we don't need to point out that he's a normal kid because he is normal. So instead, say he's adorable or he's funny or he's cute or something. But don't remark that he doesn't look like he has those issues. That's just rather insulting. Number 4, I get this one all the time, and I know it comes from a place of innocence, but I get the, what in the world do you feed him? And that is bothersome, especially if the child hears that. He's not a freak of nature. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of foods he can eat. And he has a really long list of allergies, but there's still lots and lots of foods he can eat. So don't treat allergy kids like they're some weird freaks of nature, because they're not. Maybe instead say, well, what does he like to eat? What are his favorite foods? What's his favorite snack? What's his favorite, I don't know, dinner? That's a much better way to approach that, to not make him feel like he's a weirdo. Number 5, I made this for you. It doesn't have any peanuts in it. Well, thank you. Peanuts are one of our main allergies, but we have lots of other allergies too. And also there's this little issue of cross-contamination. So it's really, really complex. It's not just as simple as making sure the allergens aren't in the food, because, well, there's hidden dairy in so many things. There's hidden soy in so many things. It's complicated, basically. And until you learn to read the food labeling language, because yes, there's a food labeling language, there's just no way you can be sure that you've removed all the allergens from the food. And it can be really dangerous, and life-threatening even. So you could instead say, I'd like to make something safe for him. What's something that I could purchase that's safe? And there are some store-bought items that I can guarantee you that are safe, that you can buy for him, that I know will be fine. That's a much better way to handle it. Number 6, I get this one all the time too. He'll outgrow it, right? Well, that's another misconception about food allergies. So yes, you hear that a lot, that children will outgrow food allergies. And sometimes it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It does happen sometimes, but it's very rare. And usually when it happens at a pretty young age, like by a year old. So my son, for example, is 5 now, almost 6, 5.5. So the likelihood that he's going to outgrow his allergies is very, very slim to none. So that's not really something we want to talk about or hear. And again, we know you mean well, but it just doesn't come across that way. So instead, how about just say, I know you're taking really great care of him. That's better. Number 7, they can cure that allergy now. Did you ever try fill in the blank? So let me assure you, yes, we've tried it all, we've read it all, we've researched it all, probably way more than you have. And no offense, but we don't want your recommendations. We just don't, because we've heard them all the time from everybody, from every person we've ever spoken to about our allergies, all the time. Waitresses in restaurants, when you say you're not ordering anything for him, you packed his dinner in a lunchbox because he's allergic to everything. I mean, strangers will tell you that. And so, yeah, there are some promising treatments, and they have worked for some children for some allergies. But there are 1,000 different reasons why those treatments might not be right for a certain kid, or maybe they've already tried it and it didn't work, and that's just rubbing salt into a wound. So instead, you could just talk about, I don't know, just say, it sounds like there's a lot of really interesting research about food allergies right now. I'm glad that they're looking into that further, and just leave it at that. Number 8, he's gonna have to get used to it. Well, yeah, we know. We know he's gonna have to get used to it. He's very used to it. He's very used to being left out, as a matter of fact, because a lot of people aren't interested in doing what it takes to keep an allergic kid safe in order for him to participate. I will say I have been frustrated by how food-centric children's activities are these days, and there's a lot of reasons why that's a bad idea, other than the fact that there are allergy kids being left out because of it. But obesity in children in America is another epidemic. So, as an educator and as a mom of an allergic kid, I'm thinking, there's 1,000 other fun activities we could do that don't have to include food, but it seems like food is always included. And at Sunday school, at school, at birthday parties, at everything. And I'm not saying that there should never be food. Obviously it's fun to have food at birthday parties and things like that, but not every single thing has to revolve around food. And where I live in the deep south, it's even more prominent because we Southerners like to eat. But instead of saying he's gonna have to get used to it, we know we've been getting used to it for 5.5 years. How about say, what can I do to make sure that he could safely participate? Because I can't tell you how much that means to us. For example, and he's getting old enough now too that he is realizing that he's being left out. And our T-ball, he played T-ball this season, and we had an end of the year pool party, and the original menu was such that I did not feel comfortable taking him. They were gonna have pizza, and pizza is a food that you eat with your hands, and dairy is probably his worst allergy. He's contact reactive to dairy. He's even had airborne reactions to dairy. And so the idea of a bunch of 5-year-olds with pizza on their fingers running around playing and swimming, it's just very dangerous for him. And so we were not going to be able to go to his end of the year T-ball party, and he was devastated. And one of the mamas realized, thankfully, what was happening, and she said exactly that. She said, well, what can we do? What can we change? What can we fix? What if we have a no food party? Was her first suggestion. And it meant the world to us. And I was able to recommend foods and drinks and even cookies that everybody could bring, and we all still got to eat. And the kids enjoyed it, and Ford was safe, and he got to participate. And ever since then, the little boy that we had it at his house, his name was Luke, and ever since, Ford has been saying, that was so fun at Luke's house. I wish we could go back. I wish we could go back to Luke's house. It just meant the world to him. There's a gnat in my house. He hasn't stopped talking about it. So instead of saying he's gonna have to get used to it, say, how can I include him? How can we make it safe and make it work for your allergy kid? Number 9, I feel so bad for him. Again, I know this is out of love, and it's sincere, and you do feel bad for him. I feel bad for him too, but he doesn't want to be pitied. He really doesn't. He wants to be treated just like every other kid. He wants to be involved just like every other kid. And yeah, it's scary. And he even has some fears when it comes to food. He gets nervous if he knows that there's something with an allergen in it close to him. He's very hyper aware of that, and so I don't ever want him to live in a state of fear of the food around him. But it is scary. But instead of saying how bad you feel, how about say, how are you doing? I'm here to talk about it if you want to talk about it. And then number 10, God never gives you more than you can handle. Well, number one, as a Christian, I don't believe that statement at all. I believe God does give you more than you can handle because He intends for you to depend on Him. However, I think that statement can sometimes feel like you're rationalizing or minimizing the experience that we're having living life with severe food allergies. So rather than saying something like that, just ask, how can you help? Just say those things like, how can we help him participate safely? How can we include him? Do you want to talk about it? What can I do? Those things are much more valuable. They're much more valuable to an allergy parent than those other things. So just some things to think about when you run into an allergy parent, because like I said, 1 in 13 now, y'all, and I hate to say it, but I think in another 10 years there'll be a lot more than that. But even right now, if you haven't yet, maybe your children are really little and you haven't run into anybody with an allergy yet in your child's classroom or Sunday school class or wherever, you will. It's coming. So be prepared, and don't be afraid to ask us the questions like, what's safe? What is he like? We love those questions. We are grateful for those questions, and they mean more than us to anything. The fact that you are willing to include our child in a way that will keep our child safe means the world. It means the world. So there you have it. 10 things never to say to an allergy parent. See y'all next time.